Hi, everybody. Since Richard was premeditatedly murdered on Fort Bliss, it's a code red, and that's internal. This is a systemic problem there at Fort Bliss in El Paso. It's an infiltration problem. And, you see corroborating stories that we've been putting up that shows you that this is a systemic and a infiltration problem, that it has to do with criminal trafficking, has to do with weapons and ammunition trafficking, it has to do with narcotics trafficking, it has to do with human trafficking, specifically, and not only, but it includes child trafficking. And Richard, let me make sure that I'm on. Let me make sure everything is working. I just did a live stream and tried to do one earlier, but oh, jeez, that's loud. Okay, so everything is working. Thank you, Anicia, for coming on. And we have been receiving uh, loads of phone calls because of what is going on, especially the latest information of Christopher Wray's resignation, the confirmation of Christopher Wray's resignation so soon. And so that is, it needs to be addressed, what we think about that, because, for 4 years, we have been doing everything that we can to drive him to do his duty, because it's not just him. It's and he has made some very, very bad decisions. It's made he's hurt a lot of people. And I'm thinking about the J6ers, totally criminal. But also, I think it was the environment that he was in, the pressure, the targeting. Anybody that did anything was targeted, and he saw firsthand that they had weaponized the system against uh, anybody that didn't like their agenda. Those that are, and I'm talking about the Biden administration, those that didn't like their agenda, and it's hard to really target a Gold Star family, but they did. They absolutely did. And so Christopher Wray was driven to, we did get the declaration of death from the Department of Defense. That was huge, huge in this case. But because in that paperwork, because we knew, of course, everyone knew that Richard was dead. We all knew that, because where is he, right? Where is he? Where's our son? And um, but the paperwork identified where he was murdered, and that is on Fort Bliss. And so there was, a lot of guessing going on until then. But now we know, and that really put a lot of pieces together on our timeline, and just with the suspects, and looking, what it did is it gave us new leads, because then we could focus on that area. And that's how we confirmed that Richard's unit was engaged in the weapons trafficking connected to this weapon, the ammunition trafficking, and that his unit is connected to the Walmart mass shooting case. Okay. So, those all came together because of the declaration of death, and looking at Fort Bliss with the criminal trafficking as far as the child trafficking goes. And now we have corroborating evidence that, it's not like 325,000, like that's not enough. It's terrible. Now the New York mayor is saying it's 500,000. It's upwards of 500,000 unaccompanied children. These are taken children. Of course, they're taken children. Unaccompanied children now that are missing, and of course, quote unquote, mostly dead. And that's Christopher Wray. See, Christopher Wray has to answer for that, right? He failed to address all that, just like Veronica Escobar. That was Veronica Escobar's absolute duty to do that. And I could speak for hours about people failing to do what we pay them to do, what we pay them to do. And so, but the big point is that we know that they're trafficking, right? We know that they're trafficking, and we've confirmed that the Juarez cartel is absolutely infiltrated into El Paso and Fort Bliss. We know that, and their activities, right? The activities, um, and then we have the corroborating information that is being looked into this new Chinese Navy recruiter's office where everyone is Chinese and everyone's speaking Chinese, and it's more like China instead of America, because America is, a melting pot. When you go into an office, you see all kinds of different people, right? It's kind of like going into, um, I was just thinking of Israel going into the Joseph of Arimathea, um, his garden, the tomb garden, where all these people from all over the world are in there. It seems so American to me, right? Because it was such a melting pot of people, and I was just thinking to myself, it's Jesus that brings everyone together. Jesus brings everybody together, and but this going back to California and this office that seems more like China than the United States, that the language is Chinese or recruiting Chinese, or but yet they're wearing U.S. Navy uniforms. That's everyone wants that investigated, that I'm speaking with. And so can there be infiltration going on, right? Maybe for nefarious reasons, um, because this country is absolutely amazing, and people would want it, right? There could be something like a Trojan horse attack. Things don't have to just be, violence. They can be sneaky. They can be very, very sneaky, like the January 6th information coming out, where you have the FBI informants that almost 30 of them that were infiltrated in the crowd there on January 6th. And we all knew that. We all knew that there were instigators. And absolutely, I know that they were instigating. I saw it with my own eyes, that they had an alternative reason for being there and wanting us to hurt ourselves somehow by stampeding, by, shooting gas at the crowd that had, people in wheelchairs and children in strollers, and saying the Lord's Prayer and all that. And they want them to panic, and hurt themselves or hurt each other. And that didn't happen. These were absolutely amazing people. And we worked together to get out of the tear gas. Which was, you had to have a lot of self-discipline to get out of that tear gas, because it doesn't feel very nice when your throat and your eyes and your nose and all that is burning. Um, yeah, uh, that is another issue why, of course, Christopher Wray knows that he's a failure, in that he's a failure in Richard's case. To a certain extent, there were some helps there, right? There were some helps there, but he was this whole January 6th, the whole Fort Bliss thing, the trafficking, and so my take, and maybe I'm wrong, but my take is that I'm very, very grateful that he um, has mental, the epistemological self consciousness to step away right now, to stop being a roadblock and let someone that can do the job in a more favorable environment do the job. And that's Kash Patel. And so, and that's not my choice. That's President-elect Trump's choice, Kash Patel. He feels like he can do the job. Let's see if he can do the job. And I'm very appreciative that Christopher Wray, instead of trying to cover up himself and cover up those that were up to no good, um, stepped away early, got out of the way. And I think that yeah, there might be um, that might be something really good to say about this whole situation. So, and we are looking absolutely forward to working with Kash Patel, um, as we uh, respectfully worked with Christopher Wray. And hopefully we'll get our son's remains and get accountability, and that the FBI or a different agency will address the trafficking, the infiltration um, that is going on at our border there. That is really hurting a lot of people. And also the broken judicial system, because don't forget, um, we've exposed, Team Find Richard Halliday has exposed with others, we're not alone in this, that the chief medical examiner is illegal. That means the cause and manner of death in the Walmart mass shooting case is need to be investigated, that they cannot be trusted, and that he needs to be removed, right? He needs to be removed. And also the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court um, has illegally appointed judges that have now, because they're illegal, they have no jurisdiction, they have no authority, and they've been doing this since 2015. And because the Texas Constitution demands that or the law says, right? The law says that if you're a court with this kind of protection, excuse me, with this kind of protection, that you absolutely have to have elected judges. So that's another, and that's Penny Hamilton was illegal. She magistrated Patrick Crucius. Um, and there was a lot of things that happened in the hands of these unauthorized individuals that tampered and obstructed our son's case. Our son's cases. Our son's, because don't forget, he was a whistleblower. He was a whistleblower before his murder case, before the Walmart mass shooting case. So that all needs to be addressed. And then, of course, we have this usurper DA that really pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. And I'll share that. I need to share it because we dug up Team 5 Richard Halliday. We dug up the article that he says that he's he just kind of pretends to be a Republican because he was appointed by um, Governor Abbott, who's a Republican. And so, whatever. But that's not really who he is. And of course, his biggest contributors are Purchase Funeral Homes. So he's messing with us, and he's a usurper. and he needs to be held accountable for what he has done too, and the obstruction in so many cases, that his selfishness, um, and the scheming against Yvonne Rosales with uh, Bob Moore of El Paso Matters and Justin Underwood, have done. So that is why, um, we are continuing to investigate, because if the DA's office is botched and the court is botched and the medical examiner is botched, what else is botched? Because they've been infiltrating in order to build up a criminal network, and do this trafficking, right? Do this trafficking for loads of money. And so we, in our investigations, it has become international because of the infiltration, right? Because of the information that we have that Richard's partial remains were in Mexico. And that's corroborated by multiple um, witnesses, and official DOS, right? Department of State. Um, and so that has led us to look at all the avenues of trafficking. Uh, you know, did they use cars? Did they walk? Um, Train? No, it's planes. And that is the Santa Teresa um, International Jetport Airport. And so we've gotten feedback from that. That is a huge thing, because we have some big questions that we posted. I posted it, about the flights and the connections to Richard's case with the Juarez cartel cases. It's, they're kind of, oh, Richard's case is, look, the Iran Contra is pales compared to Richard's case, when it comes to the Walmart mass shooting case, when it comes to the other connections, all these children that are unaccompanied and now missing and mostly dead, the weapons trafficking on Fort Bliss and Delta Battery 143, being connected to um, the Walmart mass shooting. These individuals that are suspects, sorry, let me drink, that are at Bliss Avenue, the whole Bliss Avenue thing. Um, the arms room, the Major General Eisenhower illegally ordering the renovation of the arms room, the very building where Richard resided, the last known um, location of our son, and at no expense, no expense spared, right? No expense spared, um, illegally. So that's all uh, being inquired about. So we're getting to over the X where Richard's remains are, and though that's there's other information coming in. I'm not at liberty to say. Um, but you have to go way back to the beginning of all of this to understand that some people were giving us information. So, in their own ways, and that's starting to make sense to us now with the corroborating evidence. And yeah, that's where we're at. So, yes, we are looking at the flights and the flight numbers and the pilots. We are looking at the trafficking. We are looking at um, finding our son's remains. So, Christopher Ray wasn't able for some, um, I don't know what he was compromised with or the environment he was in or whatever. Um, and now he did something really good. I think it was really good that he resigned because he could have been a roadblock for a good year to 3 years. Um, and now he decided not to do that, and stepped down. So I'm very happy about that. So thank you so much. God bless you, and I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.